Hello, good evening, welcome. This is Hot Edition. We're live on news about Desawe Kanda, also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're also on W93.5 in Wa and beyond. Also, we're streaming live on Facebook and X at 3FM 927. You can follow every step of the way. All the document and the videos we're going to be posting as we go on the bulletin this evening. Also, you can listen to us all across the world on 3news.com. Coming up here on Hot Edition, government approves payment of 4 million cedis to clear Kolebu renal unit debt. That's according to the Health Minister, Kukwajima Menu, as he assures Parliament of additional measures to avert a similar shutdown in the future. But the renal patients have been talking about all of these, and they have a few reservations. Stay with us. We're getting to it here on Hot Edition. Also this evening, at least 5 persons drowned following a canoe accident in the Afram River in the Kwehu Afram Plains South District. A search and rescue effort is underway for more victims, and we'll tell you exactly what's happening. We're live in the area this evening. Also, the Energy Minister, Matthew Poku Prempeh, attributes recent power outages to a $20 million debt owed the West Africa Gas Pipeline Company Limited. Stay tuned. We'll give you details of that here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We have the latest in business, sports, and entertainment coming up over the next 60 minutes. And we'll tell you why Ghana's second tranche of the $600 million disbursement from the IMF program is delaying. We'll tell you all of that here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. I am Alfred Ocansey. Remember, Hot Edition is proudly brought to you by Old Mutual. Old Mutual do great things every day. Let's get into the details now. As the Health Minister, Kukwajima Menu, says government has approved an amount of 4 million cedis to pay the debt of the Kolebu renal unit. The minister made this known on the floor of Parliament today. The kidney disease management in the country has been topical in the last few weeks following the closure of the Kolebu Renal Dialysis Center to outpatients over high operational cost and a debt overhang of some 4 million Ghana cedis. Now, the center only this week reopened after a directive by the health minister, but concerns still remain about the sustainability of the facility. However, today in Parliament, the minister assured the payment of the debt while noting that there will be a restructuring of the agreement with suppliers of the consumables to ensure the situation does not recur.
For the past 2 years, the payment schedule initially agreed on with Fair Sky Group of companies has been fraught with delays. Due to these delays, the RDU continues to accrue exchange rate losses, which has made it difficult for the RDU to service the monthly payments to the partner. Mr. Speaker, in view of these challenges, Kolebu has accrued a total debt of a little over 4 million Ghana cedis to its partner. Furthermore, it remains a fact that the current charge of 380 cedis for dialysis is insufficient to enable the RDU to generate enough revenue to fulfill its full obligations under the contract with FMC, especially as it does not have a hedged exchange rate per annum regime. This has compromised the ability of the RDU to raise the funds required to pay for consumables procured. So, Speaker, it must be noted that currently patients on dialysis are not on the National Health Insurance Scheme. The Kolebu Teaching Hospital, in consultation with the Minister of Health, has initiated discussions with FMC for review of the current contract for more flexible payment options and a more structured supply of consumables to avoid excessive delays and to ensure delivery of the outstanding 45 dialysis machines and auxiliary equipment to boost the service being rendered. The MOH has since made a request to the Minister of Finance to settle the total indebtedness of the 4 million Ghana cedis. And the good news now is that the Minister for Finance has just approved the disbursement of this 4 million to support our patients in Kolebu. To forestall the recurrence of this unfortunate situation, the Ministry, in collaboration with Kolebu and the Minister of Finance, is considering one of the following options: the possible inclusion of dialysis on the National Health Insurance Benefit Package, the granting of subsidies based on proposal received from Kolebu, and the possible review of the tariffs to ensure sustainability of the services.
Well, that's the health minister there giving possibilities of what the way forward would look like after this payment of the 4 million cedis debt owed by the renal unit of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Now, let's stay a bit further on this. Kojuba Fahinkra is a convener of the persons living with kidney diseases who attend the Kolebu renal unit for healthcare. Mr. Bafahinkra, thank you so much for joining us here on Hot Edition, and for the past 48 hours after this renal unit was open, and I understand a number of your members have been going to get dialysis. Now, how much have you been paying?
Thank you, Alfred. We've been paying the old price at 380.
380 cedis.
Yes.
You've just heard the minister say, amongst other things, that beyond today, a number of considerations are on the table. A subsidy to, as it were, reduce the expenditure burden of the renal unit, and then also a possible inclusion of the cost of dialysis under the health insurance. And then the third one, which I'm sure you're not going to be happy about, is a possible upward review of the fees that you're paying now, which is Kolebu's proposal to Parliament to take a look at. With these three, if you had the ears of the minister, which one would you propose to him?
Thank you, Alfred. In fact, I was at Parliament myself and I listened to him very well. Like you said, let me take it from the down. Why would he even increase it to upward adjustment? The point is, even the 380, like the minister just said, it was somebody who was paying First Sky. The 380 that you were talking about, it was somebody who was paying. And the person, like you said, the payment was not forthcoming. That brought the debt that Kolebu is owing. So if the 380 we were not able to pay and somebody who was sponsoring us, why would he even push it upwards? It's a no going area. I mean, that is the way I see it. And because now, yesterday, since the unit opened officially, they started working yesterday, they called 10 people to come for dialysis. Out of this, then only 4 kids. The rest were saying they don't have the 380 to come and pay. At first, because somebody was paying, like all of them will report to the unit and do their dialysis. And then because now you have to come and pay yourself, they were not able to come. Only 4 kids. I was at the unit yesterday to find out what was going on. So please, they should look at that one again. And then he talked about the consideration that they are putting on the table. Yes, 1 or 2 occasions the Kolebu CEO has been talking to me on 1 or 2 issues. Yes, if they are going to maintain the 382, I think every month the government is supposed to be subsidized about 900 something, equivalent to 1 million cedis every month. If not that, then they have to increase the price to 500. That one, the government will be doing about 400 something. I mean, it's about 400 something. I've forgotten the exact price. That will be the subsidy the government needs to pay. So there are 2 proposals on the table for the government to choose. Now, all are in good faith. But the point is, what will bring this thing down after totally is our government taking care of it. Like they say they want to put on the health insurance. It will be the very best way because other countries that we've cross-checked, that is what they are doing. So we hope that thing will be expedited as quick as possible. Because I remember Dr. Kuboy saying that it will take them about a year to put it on there. So I don't know when they will start and then this will be expedited so that it can come on board.
See, for as long as there's delays, how is this impacting on you and your members?
Oh, Alfred, even though they opened yesterday, it's still having impact. Like I said, the 380, people don't even have the money to come and pay. So yesterday that they opened the court, 10 people, only 4 came. 6 were not able to come. So we don't even know what is happening to this sex. We don't even know what will happen to this sex. So in whichever way, it's having a big effect on us, big time. Secondly, you've not asked me, but let me chip in this. The machines are in Kolebu are not enough. Okay, I heard the minister saying they are expecting some 45 machines. I think the 4 million has been paid. The 45 machines are coming. If it is true so, then hallelujah. We thank God the 45 will be added to whatever we have. If not, then we say we are going to deal with the 15 machines that we have. We are in for a big trouble. It will not take a longer time. The unit will shut down again because all the machines will break down. And the machines we are using now are very sophisticated, touch machines. And sometimes when the machine is used after 18 hours, it will tell you that shut me down. And with the kind of numbers that we have now, the numbers, there's no way they can shut the machine down. Each person goes on in for 4 hours. Each person goes on in for 4 hours. And we are normally about 250. That is the OPD. The inpatients are not even added up yet. So we need more machines. So like if I heard him right at when I was in the gallery by saying that they are expecting some 45 machines, then we thank God, hallelujah. That would be a very welcoming news so that it will bring the pressure down.
I see. Well, let's get an update on this hope that you have, because this is not the first time I have heard, at least, a government official talk about dialysis machines coming in. Dr. Sebastian Sandari is a member of parliament for the Dafiama Bosie Isa constituency. He's a member of the Health Committee of Parliament. He's been listening to you, Zabafo. He's joining us on the telephone. Honorable, thank you so much for joining us here on Hot Edition. This promise of the 45 dialysis machines are on its way. Did the minister give any further detail as to the timelines when exactly is this 45 dialysis machines arriving in this country?
Yeah, thank you very much. The minister did not give an indication of when these 45 dialysis machines would come. And if I read his statement right, it's not even that intervention, it's not even government. I think it's the FMC, they signed contract with Kolebu to supply a number of dialysis machines. I think the minister was talking about reviewing that contract. And in it, they're employing FMC to ensure that the 45 machines are delivered. But whatever it is, it's always sad and unfortunate, when as a country we get to this situation. I had to say this is not the first time government official is talking about bringing in dialysis machines. Rightly so. For how long are we going to be making promises when our people are dying? We should. When I contributed to the statement, my worry was that the minister even failed to indicate, how does the case scenario from Kolebu lead to a holistic policy or direction that addresses the issue of renal dialysis in the country. Today is Kolebu. Tomorrow we don't know where the story would come from. So we should be looking at a situation where, as you, the newsmakers, bring the stories across this country of patients, suffering from renal diseases, renal failures, we should be taking steps, and in fact, speeding up the steps to address the issue holistically. But you don't see it. And the summary of it is that it means we don't place priority on our health issues. We don't place priority on dialysis for our clients. If not by now, almost all the regional hospitals should have functional dialysis machine. Even in Accra, the story should not be about Kolebu. We should have had peripheral facilities building their capacity to be able to do dialysis so that patients do not go to Kolebu to congest there, but we have other specialists in other facilities with the machines that will make life easier for this client, because apart from what they go to Kolebu to pay, probably the struggle through traffic, through whatever to even get to Kolebu, that cost, the patients are not talking about that. And it's unfortunate because they are dying. While we are taking time discussing and making promises, patients are dying from renal failures. And even what we are talking about is just a tip of the iceberg, because some data and researchers are saying that the situation in the country, even at the Kolebu there, is such that for one patient that is put on the dialysis machine, there are about 9 or more patients who do not have, access, either be it financial means or geographical access or whatever, to the dialysis. So we should, as a country, take this issue seriously and put priority and mobilize resources to tackle this issue forever. I always say that, look, We are all at risk. When you find one patient suffering or complaining about his health situation due to one condition or the other, always ask yourself, if today you are in a good condition, maybe you don't have kidney failure, but you don't know tomorrow, you don't know in the future where you would end, because if the system is not fixed, when it gets to you, then you realize the importance of what everybody is talking about.
And you see, it is the urgency of the situation that I'm talking about, because for the past at least 7 weeks, this dialysis conversation has been on the front burner. But it's taking almost 2 months for the health minister to appear before the House, and these details or these updates that we're giving. Even with that, we're still not sure of exactly what to do, whether we're giving Kolebu subsidies or we're adding it to the health insurance scheme so that it will reduce the burden of these persons living with kidney diseases, or we're going to review the fees higher. So as members of parliament, what is the sense of urgency, or what pressure do you intend to put on this minister, the health minister, to ensure that a firm, permanent decision is taken in the wake of all of these happenings of these patients? They are dying. 19 of them have died between May and now. 19 of them because of what's going on. Honorable.
Yes, rather so. I even believe that this is just what the health facility figures are showing. Those dying, and we are not sure, we are not even counting them. So the 19, I believe, are just those with record at Kolebu who have died, and we can count them. Those that don't have record in health facilities and dying, we are not talking about them. But like you rightly said, I believe it is not about the talk. If it is talk, I believe you journalists have done fantastic work talking about this. People have talked enough. The clients, the renal patients have talked enough. It is about action now. And I believe that next week, hopefully, we should have the budget. And I expect that a very concrete measure, we should see it in the budget. If things were not put in place, we should be seeing some emergency measures to address this issue forever. And it is an issue that I believe needs national pressure, where all stakeholders should come on board, and that platform should be created where we have our specialists, we have the patient, we have civil society, we have everybody putting pressure and contributing for us to address this issue. Because sometimes it's sad that when such an issue comes to Parliament, then you see the way we even, contribute and make issues. It takes partisan lines that at the end of the day, we don't address or get to the bottom of the matter and make recommendations that will solve the problem. Because the kind of recommendations that the Minister for Health made, you realize that are in a way some long-term recommendations. Meanwhile, the patients are dying, they are suffering, and we shouldn't be doing that to this country. So yes, as MPs, if we don't see any concrete measures by next week, we, especially the members of the health committee, would bring the minister again, I believe through our leadership, to the committee. We cannot sit for patients to be dying and we keep on talking. It is time to act and leave propaganda when it comes to the life of Ghanaians.
Well, for the Kolebu management, they submitted a letter to you, and I'm sure for the health committee you've seen this. They are asking that you, Parliament, you should expedite action on their proposal to have the fees increased from 380 cedis per dialysis session to 765 cedis, because that's the only way they can cover cost and sustain the operations of the unit. The patients, on the other hand, one of them is on, in fact, the convener for them is on the other line listening to you. He says that even the 380 cedis they are paying now, a number of them can't pay. It is Sky Group. They've been paying for them. So as Parliament, what approach are you taking to this proposal by Kolebu to have the fees reviewed?
Rightly so. I see this proposal or appeal, it will have a lot of interest before Parliament. Bear in mind that we just represent the people. And we listen to the people. Whatever we do there, we get feedback from our constituents. And some are these patients who are suffering seriously from renal conditions. So I believe, and that will be my angle of debate. My contribution and belief is that, look, if patients cannot afford, there's no point asking for upward adjustment. Even where they are, the 380, they are saying they cannot afford. So why would we go and increase it upwards even where they are, 380? It's difficult for them. And let us face reality. Even those of us who don't have these conditions, how many of us can get 380 even in a week? Multiply that by 4 weeks in the month, and then by the number of sessions. How many of us can get that, even as healthy individuals, let alone these people who, because of their conditions, many of them cannot do any active work that will give them income. So we should be looking for other interventions instead of putting the burden on these vulnerable clients. And that is where government must come in with immediate measures. Yes, if Kolebu is suffering and do not have the resources, government must come in with other sources of funding that can immediately address the situation, while in the immediate to long term, we take time to address it holistically. Because they are saying that they cannot afford. We are not saying Kolebu doesn't have justifiable reasons or whatever, but the situation, we will listen to our constituents, our clients, more than Kolebu, because government can come in to intervene in the situation of Kolebu. But look, when patients die, when lives are lost, we can't bring those lives back. I mean, that is what everybody should understand, that the lives that are being lost, we cannot bring them back. So it's for government to come in. We are saying one of the issues is that we cap the national health insurance. What is the issue of capping it, that the funds that are needed to support vulnerable clients are not forthcoming? Even what goes into the consolidated fund, releasing it becomes a problem. And that's why many health facilities are suffering, because it takes time for them to be paid what is due them, in terms of monies coming from the NHIA. But whatever it is, this is the time for government to show leadership. This is the time for government to show concern. This is the time for government to show love to these clients that are suffering. Right. Enough with propaganda. Okay. Let us face reality and address the problem as it is.
Sandari, thank you very much for your time, and we'll follow this up and how things play out in Parliament. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Sebastian Sandari is Member of Parliament for the Dafiama Bosie Issa constituency. He's a member of the Health Committee of Parliament. Also, thank you. Kojo Bafo Ahenkwa, appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. He's the convener of the persons living with kidney diseases in the Greater Accra region, for that matter, about 250 of them who attend the Kolibu unit for dialysis care. Now, let's stay a bit further on issues of some concern, because 5 persons have drowned in the Afram River following a canoe accident in the Kwehu Afram Plains South District of the Eastern Region. 6 others have been rescued alive, while a search is still underway for a 6th person who's also believed to have drowned. The victims were believed to be part of a 12-member crew hired as farm laborers at Aziachikope across the Afram River. Eastern Regional Correspondent Yvonne Nico has been following this quite closely, and she's joining me for a quick update on this. Yvonne, what more have you gathered about this rather unfortunate incident?
Well, Alfred, the rescuers are hoping to get the 5th body out of the Afram River where the incident happened. Of course, it's almost late here, so they would have to abandon it and return tomorrow to see exactly what they can do make of the effort. But it's unfortunate that this drowning incident keeps occurring on the Afram River. Most passengers don't wear life jackets on it and travel late in the night. What is happening now is that because the water levels are still a bit up, any other thing that's happening on the lake could cause a drowning incident. And that's what we're experiencing from yesterday's incident of this morning.
I see. So these people were traveling at night?
Exactly. They were traveling at night to make a stopover at a different village before the farmland where they were actually recruited to work in. And so between that 7 p.m. when they took off from that community and towards Abia, Tikofe, is where the incident occurred. Usually from morning to evening, you see a number of these boats and then passengers and those who manage it using that stretch. A number of them are quite experienced, but like I said early on, the water levels are not same like before. And so if you feel you're experienced and don't have the technical knowledge to understand how the river is moving, you could make that same ride and then cause a drowning incident. And so this is what we're seeing. We're really hoping that the boat owners do understand what the river is like and don't make those trip again for us to be having this exercise. Importantly, the issue about life jackets, over and over we've spoken about it, but unfortunately we're not seeing it being enforced by the boat owners or even the district assembly. We'll see what happens from this incident.
Indeed, we're working on the phones to get the assembly member for the electoral area to speak to on this matter. But the National Disaster Management Organization is there, from what I understand. What have they been telling you? I mean, these people who are in the rescue.
Well, NADMO has not yet made any official communication yet as to exactly what they would want to inform them. For today, the main purpose is to ensure that they're retrieving the bodies and doing a rescue mission before they will do the processes of briefing the people in the region and then the national body. Going ahead, we're hoping, like you said, expecting that the education exercise for those who operate these boats go on, and then they are mandated to have the life jackets on and then operate within a certain framework. The DCA, I spoke to him briefly, Evans in Tree State. He's also waiting for that briefing as well before he speaks officially. So we're just hoping that from now till this evening, we hear from them.
But it's on record that this particular place is an accident-prone area where you have a lot of these boat accidents recurring over time, is it not?
Exactly as you have said. The entire water stretch is not an easy one to move on from the Assam River. Myself and two of my colleagues in the newsroom have had this experience before. It took God for us to save us from that incident. So yes, it's a vulnerable place to work on. Of course, same as drivers on our roads, people in the air. So yes, it should be a bit about cautioning about those who use the boat and then putting on safety and protective equipment to ensure that in terms of accident, we will not have 10 more people that we're losing. By now, the assemblyman confirmed that 5 people were brought in lifeless. The 6th person they're still looking for. Unfortunately, they were able to save 6 from the 12 people that were on that boat.
Yvonne, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yvonne Nikwe is our Eastern Regional Correspondent. Yvonne, thank you for this update.
You're welcome, Alfred.
And let's stay a bit further on this. And the Assembly member for the Jata electoral area, Johnson Anglesinya, is joining us. Thank you so much for your time here on Hot Edition. So we understand 5 bodies, unfortunately, have been retrieved from this river. What is the state of the rescue efforts now?
Okay, the people are still on the lake looking for one person missing. Already we have found 5 bodies, which the police commander and his team has conveyed them to Donkokrom Hospital for mortuary. So our people are on the lake looking for the missing one that has not been yet found.
Any hope of finding this person alive?
Yeah, we are still doing our best to find that one too.
From what our correspondent is telling us, this is a place that is accident prone. A number of these boat accidents have happened over time on this river because people travel at night and they travel without life jackets. So as an assembly, what have you done about this?
The fact of the matter is the assembly has registered boat owners. So if you are a boat owner and then you register with the assembly, you'll be given life jackets. But the incident that happened yesterday is not a registered boat. It is a canoe that is crossing the river. Not on the Afram Lake, actually. It's a village near the Ajata, when the people were going to farm. So the canoe owner did not register with the assembly for him to be given life jackets. But they were able to buy 2 life jackets in the boat. When they were crossing, 2 people were in these 2 life jackets. They were able to rescue themselves. And the rest, 5 people who were not in the life jacket died. So as an assembly member or as an assembly, we register all boat owners and then they were given life jackets. So we make sure when they are crossing rivers, they put on their life jacket before they cross the river.
I see. But you still have some level of supervision or jurisdiction over the boats and then the canoes that ply that area, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So even if those ones haven't registered with you and you see them on the river without life jackets, what do you do?
One thing is, I don't normally go to the river bank. Where I work is not near to the river bank. I only, if I have information concerning people without life jacket, it is there that I'll go and then advise them. But this thing that has happened, the people over there, when you ask them to buy life jacket, they will not buy. When you ask them to even register with the assembly for them to be given life jacket, they think as you are doing that, you are taking money from them. So they will never listen to advice that the NADMO have been given to them. So that is the situation on the ground over here, honestly speaking.
Okay. You don't have to be there in person, to supervise them. What I'm saying, you don't have any representative at the riverbank who can give you information that there are people on the river, on the boat, without life jackets. You don't have somebody there like that?
NADMO have employed people who monitor the movement of the boat owners. So they have people over there to do that. But as an assembly member, I don't go there to check whether the people put on life jackets on. But NADMO have employed people who do that over there.
But for you as an assembly, you've created a scheme of registering people. Those who have not been registered and they still have their boats on the river, what do you do to them? That's what I want to find out.
Yes, we do call them to advise them to come and register with the assembly so that they'll be supplied with life jackets.
Okay,
that is what we
apart from the advice, if they don't take the advice, what do you do?
What do I do as an assembly member when you advise somebody to come and register and be given life jacket if the person refuses? But one thing is we don't allow them to convey people across the river if they are not in life jacket. That is what we've been doing.
I see, but this one was able to convey people without life jackets, and they have died. So if you're saying that's what you've been doing, then you would admit that you failed in this instance, isn't it?
Where they were crossing the river is not where we've supplied the people with life. It is a certain village that they were farming at, which we all not aware of the activity over there. So I was told yesterday that this is what has happened. I don't know whether the people were there. They are not there to our notice. So that is what happened.
So now you learn your lesson to improve a lot more of your supervision, right?
Yes, please.
Okay. Go and do that. Ms. Anglechina, thank you.
You are welcome.
Johnson Anglechina is the assembly member for the Ajata electoral area. Quite a sad situation. But the Energy Minister, Dr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh, has attributed the recent power interruptions to a $20 million debt owed the West African Gas Pipeline Company, WAPCO, resulting in a cut in gas supply required for power generation. Judith Brown is my colleague. She has the rest of the story.
Over the past month, parts of the country have been plunged into darkness following power outages. The government in October reached a tentative payment plan with the West African Gas Pipeline Company, WAPCO, to settle the state's $20 million indebtedness. This followed WAPCO's decision to cut the gas supply required for power generation. Despite the agreement, however, Energy Minister Dr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh says there are still challenges with power supply as a result of the debts.
We don't have enough gas for our generation as we speak. We don't have enough gas. Because we are so much dependent upon somebody providing you the gas, and the gas wants you to pay, we are the beck and call of the West Africa Gas Pipeline. If you don't give them their money on time, they cut you. Or they restrict your ability to even put your own gas through the system. So as we speak, this is a major challenge for us.
He, however, debunked claims that Ghana might be experiencing another period of power outages.
There's a shortage of gas. But how long did that power cut even last? And the lights came back on. And I said here, I didn't hide, that there's only one tube that is linked to almost all our gas power plants. So if there's a short, if it just so happens that an onshore receiving facility develops a fault and cannot transmit a lot of our power, that is why we are having increasingly bigger stretches of the country going off electricity when there's a power shortage. I cannot stand here and say that was the last one, and that doesn't make it doom so.
Despite these challenges, the Energy Minister is still touting the government's achievements in the energy sector, citing an increase in the percentage of national access to electricity from 72% in 2011 to 87.85% in 2012.
As of today, I can safely say that we are on course of the last mile with an electricity access rate of around 88.85. We are working hard to ensure availability and realistic pricing of petroleum products into the Ghana market so that we don't have queues at the pumps and non-available petroleum.
For now, it seems power outages might persist in the coming days.
9 years after the Supreme Court ordered the state to retrieve 51.2 million cedis from businessman Alfred Ocansey, 18.5 million has been recovered so far, leaving an outstanding balance of 32.7 million cedis. The Attorney General's quest has been hampered by multiple legal suits filed by the businessman. My colleague Joseph Akabley has the rest of the story in today's edition of Ghana Remembers.
The name Alfred Ocansey virtually popularized the concept of judgment debts in Ghana. Songs were composed by entertainers in an attempt to keep the conversation in the news, demand an end to the trend, and make light of the situation. Politicians had a go at each other on who was to bear the utmost responsibility for causing various losses to the state through breach of contracts.
Communications Director of the party, Nana Kumia, was addressing a news conference in Accra.
Ghanaians should demand the prosecution of all government and public officials who facilitated this fraud, this mistake, this great loot and share.
9 years on, 18.5 million cedis has been recovered by the MPP-led government. The facts surrounding the Woyome matter can be traced to July 2004, when Ghana won the rights to host the African Cup of Nations, which was to take place in 2008. The nation set in motion processes for the award of various procurement contracts geared at rehabilitating and constructing stadia. One of such agreements did not mature into a contract, but the company at the center, Waterville Holdings, had already gone to the site to begin construction. Government decided to set aside the agreement, but opted to allow companies working on behalf of Waterville to continue work on the site. It then decided to pay these subcontractors for onward payment to Waterville. The matter ended up in the court with Waterville Holding and Alfred Woyome, who claimed to have helped government with financial engineering obtaining judgment debts. The Supreme Court in 2 judgments ordered the recovery of the sums, pointing out that the payments were unconstitutional since they involved international companies and hence required parliamentary approval. A view businessman Alfred Woyome disagreed with.
I am not from Azerbaijan, as I've been saying. I'm a Ghanaian. Article 181 is not meant for me. It's not meant for any Ghanaian. A Ghanaian, you do business with your government. Nobody is expecting that the things to be affected by Article 181. It has been defined. That if one day have been explained by the Supreme Court, although not, they are not supposed to do that.
The Attorney General has since 2014 filed multiple legal processes in an attempt to seize cash contained in a businessman's bank account and also sell some properties belonging to him. The sold properties are 2 houses at Trasacco Valley Estates. The auctioneer, however, could not find any buyer for the properties. He therefore applied to National Security to consider purchasing the houses. The National Security paid 8.3 million and 5.5 million cedis for the properties. The Office of Attorney General says it is following various leads to recover the outstanding 32.7 million cedis.
As Joseph Akabley there, here on Ghana Remembers on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. It's some 14 minutes to the top of the hour. Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Also live on Kesme 107.1 in Tamale and beyond, and also on W93.5 in Wa and beyond. And it's probably brought to you by Old Mutual. Find insurance policies that shield your business from the uncertainties of financial loss. Benefit from our expertise in offering comprehensive solutions to expand your business. Old Mutual, do great things always.
Hello, good evening. It's time now for the business segment on Hot Edition with me, Minu Afol. In this evening's episode, Ghanaians have been admonished to provide the Ghana Revenue Authority with information about income earners they know who do not pay taxes. There have been calls for the GRA to expand the tax net to lessen the burden on the few formal workers and known businesses and institutions that are always taxed. However, addressing the media during tax education at the Medina Market, the chairperson of Women in Taxation, AC Sam, urged the public to furnish the GRA with information that could help get more Ghanaian workers to pay taxes.
You're not prepared to give somebody who is not paying tax. You are not prepared to give it out to GRA because you feel that when they give it out, hey, they will mention my name or tomorrow I'll be in trouble. But when you look at outside world, people voluntarily pay tax. And so it is up to you and I, as citizens of the nation, to play our part. Then by so doing, we educate our children, we educate our wives, we educate our siblings about tax issues. That's why we are here to educate them. And so when they get the education more, definitely the tax base will be broad and gradual. It's a gradual process. And when it happens so, you and I, a day will come that if we are collecting so much, we will benefit.
That was the chairperson of Women in Taxation, AC Sam. Away from that, an expert is making the case for a business insolvency framework to support businesses in distress amid government's debt restructuring exercise. According to Adelaide Beneprempe, a key member of GARIA and managing partner of BNP Associates, this could serve as a proactive step in preventing struggling businesses from collapsing. She also highlighted the role of insolvency practitioners in helping distressed companies find both short and long-term solutions.
Establishing a solid insolvency framework that businesses can rely upon in times of distress, so that insofar as your business can be saved, there are mechanisms in place based on the insolvency framework that has recently been established with the efforts that GARIA has put into that process. The reality is, although we now have a solid framework, it's very important that businesses, particularly businesses that need that support, are aware of it. And I think the starting point for such businesses is what we're trying to achieve here this week. Because based on the legal framework that now persists, we have a new breed of professionals known as the insolvency practitioners. And what the insolvency practitioners are meant to do to champion the cause of distressed companies, to help them find mechanisms, both short-term and long-term, in salvaging their businesses.
Adelaide Beneprempe is a key member of GARIA and managing partner of BNP Associates. Also, the Director of Academic Planning at Gimpa Business School is calling on governments to give more attention to agriculture in the 2024 budget to curb the rising food inflation. According to him, the phenomenon where income generated from the service sector is used to import food is retrogressing national development.
Also, we also want the budget to focus more on agric. Food prices are so high is because our focus over the years has not been agric. And that explains why the contribution of agric to our GDP is just about 25%. And now service is now doing over 40%, even far above agric, which as a developing country is not good for us. Because we cannot get the money to do service and use it to import goods and goods from other countries. So the agri-sector should be looked at, and we expect that this budget, government will spend a lot of money on agric.
And that brings us to the end of the business segment on Hot Edition. My name is Minuafo. Do stay with us. My colleague Bill Ishen will soon join us with the sports segment.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the sports segment here on the 3FM Hot Edition. My name is Billy Shen, and we're going to start off from the Black Stars because earlier today, Chris Hughton released his 25-man squad ahead of the 2026 World Cup qualifiers. And here is the list for you. Lawrence Atizigi, Joseph Wollacott, and Richard Ofori are the goalkeepers in the team. Aliou Seidu, Dennis Odoye, Gideon Mensah, Abdul Fattah Hamid, Kasim Adams, Nicolas Opoku, Daniel Amate, and Abdul Mumin are the defenders. In midfield, we have Baba Idrisu, Majid Ashmeru, Abdul Samet Salis, Edmond Ado, Mohamed Kudus, and Andre Ayew returns to the team. At wingers, we have Osman Bukari, Joseph Pencil, Enes Nyama, Jordan Ayew, Kamaldeen Sulemana. And in the forwards, we have Iñaki Williams, Antoine Semenyo, and Jonathan Sowa. So these are the names in the Black Stars squad for the qualifiers. But still on the Black Stars, reports have stated that Hughton's job is under threat following a difficult start to the campaign as a Black Stars coach. Now, the Three Sports team took to the streets to ask the fans whether or not Chris Hughton should stay as the head coach of the club. And here are their responses.
The Black Star coach, I think they should maintain him for a while. They should wait. They shouldn't sack him now. Because even if you sack him right now, the problem will still persist. It is not about coaching.
Like, since the guy can't talk, like, US is score, for happy, so we just score them all the time. So, like, therefore, sack him. That's what I think.
They have to sack him. Yeah.
Well, some fans are saying they should sack Chris Hughton, while others are saying they should give him time. Now let's move on to women's football, where Ampem Dakwa are in search of back-to-back wins in the CAF Women's Champions League as they take on AS Monday tonight at 8 p.m. Now, head coach of Ampem Dakwa, that is Nana Adakwa, had this to say ahead of the game.
We'll keep on working hard so that we can win the next game. And say true, we want to be at the top of the group. Yeah. Oh, we watched them the other day. We play first game and they play the second game. We watch them, but we can't bring our arsenals for people to see. So we are going to hide it and bring it. We want to.
Well, that was Nana Dakwa, the head coach of Ampem Dakwa ladies. That brings an end to the sports segment here on the 3FM Hot Edition. My name is Billy Shen, and up next is entertainment with Akofa.
Hello there, thanks for keeping your dial locked on 3FM 92.7's Hot Edition. It's now time for the entertainment news segment powered by 3 Entertainment. My name is Akofa. Celebrated gospel songstress PSC Esther has launched season 2 of her annual concert Made by Grace, themed more translating to Well Done. The much anticipated concert will assemble gospel music enthusiasts to praise and worship God for his goodness and mercies.
I would say 2023 has been a blessing to PSC Esther, especially my ministry. As you all know, it has been tough, but by the grace of God, we are moving forward.
It has undoubtedly been a successful year for PSC Esther. Apart from releasing a hit song, the gospel diva picked up top industry awards and headlined major concerts. The gospel star hopes to use her Made by Grace concerts to reflect on God's goodness and praise him for crowning her efforts with success.
Last year was bigger, but this year will be biggest. Each and every person will understand that God has made everybody well. So what we are doing now is say just come. Let's say more. Well done to the Most High God. And you and I can testify that God has been merciful to us. Thank you. Well done to the Most High God.
In its second season, the concert promises an unforgettable experience. Artists on the bill including Daughters of Glorious Jesus, Nasi, Perez Music, Celestine Donko and Kofi Owusu-Pepram are expected to impact and treat patrons to their spirit-filled compositions. Headlined by PSA Esther, the Made by Grace concert will take place on Sunday, December 3rd, 2023 at the UPSA Auditorium in Accra.
If you believe that God has been so good to you the whole year, from January to December, come in numbers. I feel God will answer your prayer.
Well, away from that, let's turn our attention to the winner of TV3's Mentor X DSL, who held a listening party for his first EP, Back to the Roots. Now, the Licks Entertainment signee, after 2 years of winning the contest, has released hits after hits and is finally out with his 4-track EP. Songs on the EP include Truth Tell I How, Going Down, and I'm High. Back to the Roots EP is out on all streaming platforms as well. And finally, to the international scene, celebrating American hip-hop star Kendrick Lamar will headline Move Africa Global Citizen Experience First African Music Tour, slated for December 6. Move Africa, according to a communique released by Global Citizen today, is a 5-year large-scale effort to pioneer a first-of-its-kind international music tour in Africa, which aims to showcase the best of Africa to the world while also driving investments in the communities that will be hosting. Now, the first show of the tour will take place on December 6 at the BK Arena in Kigali, Rwanda, headlined by Grammy Award-winning star Kendrick Lamar, and will be on for the next 5 years from 2023 until 2028. And we're still on the countdown for 927 Jam with King Kweku Mensah, premiering this Saturday at 7 p.m. Don't forget to tune in and join the Vibe King and his DJ as they entertain you for the weekend. That will be all of the entertainment news here on Hot Edition, powered by 3 Entertainment. My name is Akofa. Thanks for tuning in, Alfred.
Yes, and you're back at 8 o'clock.
With the Wind Down. Throwback on Wind Down.
Throwback.
Yes.
So you're playing Ghanaian throwback?
Today, no. Today we're doing some disco that is not Ghanaian.
Okay, let's do. Can you play Cole and the Gang for me?
Which of it? Let's go dancing.
Yeah.
Ooh la la la. No worries. You don't have a problem.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Good stuff. There's another one. You can call me Al.
You can call me Al. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll try and play that one for you too.
Play it.
Yeah. I'll do that. I'll dedicate it to you.
Good stuff. There's more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. And remember, Hot Edition will probably brought to you by Old Mutual. Do great things every day. I'm Alfred Ocansey. Join me at 10 p.m. on TV3 for Ghana Tonight. Have a great evening.